Yay Networks.
Hey guys, surprise, another little bonus episode for you all. This is like an unexpected one.
Yeah.
Jeff's like, since you have all this energy and you keep talking, we're going to do a bonus episode.
Yeah, why not? It's the 4th of July weekend. People have off, maybe a little extra time to listen to a little bonus episode.
All right, well, Jeff, take it away.
All right, so if you listen to the podcast, I talked that I went to the Rolling Stones concert and had a great time, right? It was a week after I found out, of me losing my job. And so I'm like, I'm just going to have fun with this. It was a school night. I'm like, I'm going to have some drinks, enjoy the concert. I'm a big fan of Mick Jagger. And by the way, he put on an amazing show. That guy's 80 years old. The crowd was rocking. They played all the hits. Keith Richards, I mean, Jesus, those guys. And they inspired me. I talked about them inspiring me. But as the concert was winding down, like I said, it was a school night. So the guy I went with, my buddy, he got me a Rolling Stones ticket to cheer me up. And I was like, listen, man, I had a great time. I had a really, my highs and lows over here. I cried, like I said, during that song. And I'm like, but I got to get out of here. I got to work tomorrow. And he's like, no, one more song. So finally, I got to a point and I'm like, listen, dude, I'm out of here. You coming with or not? And he goes, I'm staying. I'm like, all right, dude, you're going to be like 15 minutes behind me. But I'm like, I'm leaving. So I ran out of I'm like, see you later, thank you. And I ran out of the stadium. And while I'm like, 100 yards outside the stadium, I get a call. And he goes, hey, wait up, I'm coming. But I already called the Uber. So I'm like, oh my God, where is this guy? Like, come on, man, come on. So he finally comes out, and then I'm like, we got to find this Uber. So I called the Uber driver, and now the concert ends. Everybody starts coming out. And my Uber driver, it was like $50 to get home, which is we live quite a ways from the stadium. And I called him, like, we're here. I was trying to give him landmarks and stuff. And then all of a sudden I saw a ride canceled. I was like, oh my God. And so now everybody's scrambling for Uber. So I get back on to get an Uber, $200.
Yeah, you said, I thought at first. And I dropped them off at the concert so they wouldn't have to pay like the crazy surcharge. Yeah. And just so I could pull up and they could jump out. But keep going.
Talk about regulations. That's kind of crazy. The surcharge,
that's
how much
stupid.
It raises, that's insane.
We spent one night, we got ripped off at Red Rocks. Yeah. We took a cab. Remember they charged us like $200 and we're not far from Red Rocks.
Yeah, we're close to Red Rocks.
I was so mad.
So I was so mad now.
And you thought the guy was trying to pull a fast one.
That's a
Jeff,
different story.
That's another story. And I'm looking at Jeff, and Jeff's hitting me like, pointing to him, and I'm like, did I miss something? Like, I'm behind the guy. Do I need to choke him? Like, what's going on?
Sometimes when I have a couple drinks, I get very conspiratorial, so everyone's out to get me. But no, I'm usually happy. But so I'm mad about the Uber, and I'm like, oh my God, now it's $200. I'm like, I'm not paying $200. So there's not really a landmark. It's at where the Broncos, it's called Empower Field. Is it still Empower Field? It's where the Broncos play. That's where the Rolling Stones concert was. So we walk out of the stadium, can't find him. I'm mad because I'm like, now we're never getting an Uber. I'm like, now we got to go somewhere and like find a landmark so the Uber could find us. We got to wait a minute while these prices go down. So I'm like, let's just find a place. We'll have a beer and just it was a great concert and talk. And I don't know, long story short, we find this hotel, right? We walk a little bit of ways. We find this hotel. I'm like, let's just have one more beer. It's really late at this point. And I go to buy the beers and I give him my credit card. It said approved. And then the person behind the counter is like, it's not coming through on our end. I'm like, okay. So I put it in again and they're like, it says approved. And then they're like, it's not coming in. And I was like, I tried one more time. I did it again, approved. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. Can I have these beers? And then the manager comes over and he's all mad. He's like, you got cash? I'm like, yeah, I have cash. Here. I'm like, I just gave him cash. I'm like, I'm sorry. This was so difficult, So we go outside. We have one beer. That's it. And we're waiting for the prices to go down. Finally, they go down to like $100. I'm like, that's enough. Let's get out of here, And we get an Uber home. I get home. It's really late. And I go to bed. So I wake up the next morning. By the way, I went to work that day. I looked like Mick Jagger and 80 years old. One of the coworkers goes, you look like Justin Timberlake's mugshot.
Your eyes were probably still glossy from...
But anyway, so I look at my bank statement because I'm like, did that person charge... I only had we had 2 beers at that place. And I'm like, did that person charge me? And what's up with that Uber thing? So I look at my bank statement and it says Uber driver pending, the one that canceled for $53. Then it said concessions, $52, $38, $45. And I go, they charged me 3 times at that hotel?
You want to talk about in the morning how mad he was? He's like, you can cancel the babysitter because we're supposed to go to another concert the next night. He goes, I am not going to the concert. You and Scotty can go. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, I'm 1,000% sure I am not going. And I was like, oh, okay. So continue.
Yeah. So I called the hotel and I go, what's up? I go, you guys charged me 3 times. I told this situation. And the girl's like, I'm so sorry that happened. I'm like, but why'd you guys charge me 3 different prices? Like, were you taking advantage of me? And they're like, listen, you're going to have to come in here. And I'm like, you can't just refund me over the phone.
And that's what made you more mad.
Yeah. And I'm like, what if I lived out of town? I just got to eat that. And I go, I work over there. Don't worry. I'll see you after work. I wasn't too mad. That's exactly what was my tone. But I was mad because I hate when people take advantage of me. I hate when people steal. It's like my number 1 pet peeve. I know I'm droning on here, but there's a good ending. So I go to work that day. Everyone's laughing at me. I did have a great time at the concert, but I'm like, I'm going to look into this hotel thing because it's almost $150. So I go to the hotel and I took a screenshot of my bank statement and I'm waiting in line and I'm like, just calm down. The people behind here don't know what happened, you know? And I was like this little cute girl behind the thing. She was tiny. And I was like, excuse me. I'm like, I was in here last night and I explained the situation. I go, I put my credit card in 3 times and I go on my bank statement, this is my bank statement, it came up 3 times. And then she goes, are you sure this was the hotel? And I did have some drinks and I looked around and I was like, oh wait, I do remember that. So I was like, yeah, I got the beers from right over there. And she's like, well, come over here, follow me. She goes, I don't want to say the name on a hotel, but she's like, here, this is the name that would pop up on your bank statement if you bought the beers here. And I was like, okay. And she goes, did you go anywhere else before you came to the hotel? And I was like, and in my head, I go, yeah, I went to the Rolling Stones concert. I didn't say it out loud, and it just clicked in my head. All the concessions were from the concert. I was so embarrassed, but I didn't say it out loud. And I go, you know what? I think I know what happened. My buddy stole my credit card and bought a bunch of beers, that rascal. And she's like, oh my God, you're gonna have to take that up with your buddy. I go, I'm so sorry I wasted
you blamed it on her friend.
I totally did. And I walked out in shame, but with my head high because she didn't know. She thought my buddy stole the credit card. And I walked out of there. I'm like, you drunk ass. I'm like, you got to get it together, man. You got to get it together.
It's okay.
Because my mind was all over the place, like with everything happening from work. And then I usually don't go out on school nights, but it was the Rolling Stones. And yeah, that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
And then I didn't go to the concert the next day.
No, and you would have been even more mad.
Yeah, but that was funny. Then I had to stop and laugh at myself. I'm like, you're an idiot. Thank God you didn't cause a scene, and nobody got hurt.
If you would have caused a scene, that would have been so embarrassing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So embarrassing.
All right. Well, I just wanted to share that little embarrassing story.
Well, at least you had fun, and you got to see the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was all worth it. That might have been their last concert.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I think it might. But even though that guy was all over the stage, both sides, worked the crowd. I mean, definitely the biggest, he's the biggest rock star on the planet.
Yeah.
You know, and to be able to see him, it was a beautiful thing. So it was worth all the
seeing him and like Stevie Nicks would be a bucket list. Nicks. I just don't want to pay. I think they were going in Aspen when she was in Aspen. They were going for like $800, and I was like, "I love you, Stevie, but I can't do it. That's too much."
Concerts now it's ridiculous. And then the surge pricing. If you got, you should Uber both ways. You know, if you're responsible.
Well, for me,
drinking.
I'm like sober, so it's the best thing ever. I'm like driving everybody around, which is why I need my Sprinter van, because I want a Sprinter van so bad. Because I'm like, I'll just drive everybody in my neighborhood around.
Wow. And then speaking of that, I got my brother's family coming in town. They're actually, while we're doing this, they're probably here right now. And we have another concert. Then we have another concert at the end. So two more concerts and I'm done.
We're going to a concert with his brother. And I'm like, get rid of my ticket. I don't even want to go. I'm like, concert out.
No, you're in and you're going to love it.
I'm going to hate every minute of it. So
on that note,
all right. Have a wonderful 4th. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, tagging your friends, and continuing to watch. And be safe this holiday weekend. And sorry if you hear my kids. And bye.
it's like our little alarm clock. When you hear the feet starting to run around, it's time to go. So have a good weekend, everybody.